It is a beautiful night here at Tokyo Station. Tonight is a very special one. I'm traveling on Japan's last remaining regular overnight sleeper train service, that's a mouthful, down to Okayama. Now, this is technically two trains in one, the Sunrise Seto and the Sunrise Izumo. The 14-car train splits in Okayama and goes to different destinations. Since I disembarked in Okayama, I suppose I rode both and also neither. I just arrived here from Tokyo's Haneda Airport from a beautiful sunset flight on ANA, but this train is truly the main event of the day. Tokyo Station is massive and split into two sides. The original side where we are now is the Marunouchi wing, on the west side, and then you have the Yaesu wing on the east side. Before we have a deeper dive into the station and its beautiful facade, let me introduce myself to those of you that may be new to the channel. My name is Kevin and I am the Flip Flop Traveler. I'm here to give you honest content about flights, hotels, and trains. This ride tonight was self-funded, and the price that I paid is in the description as always. In this video, all you're going to get is my personal opinion based on my own unique experience, with a bit of history as well. Without further ado, let's get started. The station was designed by Tatsuno Kingo and opened in December of 1914, though the planning for it began back in 1889. With the government intent on building a central station directly across from the Imperial Palace. Though it is disputed, the Marunouchi facade is said to be fashioned after Amsterdam's Centraal Station. I'm not here to confirm or deny, but there are certainly similarities. I'll tell you one thing though, they do certainly know how to build up anticipation for this beautiful station, with the beautiful facade and then this perfectly preserved rotunda. Only to then be let through to what feels like any other train station on Earth, design-wise at least. With nearly 4,000 departing trains per day, Tokyo Station is the busiest by this metric in Japan, and regularly sees over 500,000 passengers each day. It's kinda like a subterranean maze in here. Luckily, I had a few hours to kill, to buy some food, look around, and position myself on the track early. More on that later. For now, a bit of Ikiben exploration. The Sunrise trains made their debut in their current form in 1998. Over the years, overnight train ridership in Japan has dwindled, for a number of reasons, but certainly a super efficient Shinkansen and flight network haven't helped. Jointly operated by JR Central and JR West, I bought my tickets from JR West. And I need to prepare you. If you're looking to book certain cabins on this train, you really need to be on top of the ball. But sometimes that's not even enough. I, myself, was certainly on top of the ball and I still missed out on the room that I wanted. I walked around for a solid 30 minutes trying to decide what to buy for dinner and then for breakfast as well. I thought I made my decision, but then I couldn't actually find my way back to where it was. No worries though, everything is high quality and equally as convenient. Tickets go on sale 1 month in advance at 10 AM Japan time. I was completely prepared for this. I had run through a couple of dummy bookings a few times just to familiarize myself with the process to ensure I could snag the room that I wanted. I built up a train ticket buying muscle memory of sorts, a phrase that I wasn't sure I'd ever be saying. Then, precisely 1 month in advance at 9:50 AM Japan time, I was ready. Refresh. Refresh. I don't know why I thought this time it would happen early for me, but still, refresh and refresh some more. At 10 AM, I was in. I selected the single deluxe room. It was actually still available. My heart was beating the same way that it does when I find a long-haul business class ticket for half of what it should cost, and my fingers and brain cannot move fast enough to actually get it booked. This is a sport, so don't let anyone tell you any different. I went through the various screens, got to the payment screen, and it was gone. As quickly as we climb, it seems we also fall. Small heart attack later, worried now that I wouldn't be able to get my second choice cabin, I started over. Let's try for a single room this time. Success. I was still kind of proud that I did that whole process twice in under 6 minutes, so says my confirmation email. So I presume either a robot beat me to that room that I wanted, or someone bought them in person at the train station, and of course that train station attendant processed their payment faster than me. Oh well, when I get on board, I'll show you what I was missing out on. I still have a private cabin. Yeah, so at some point, the family behind me, in line for car number 11, a mother and 2 small kids, they realized that they left a bag somewhere. Mind you, I didn't know this at the time. I don't speak Japanese. In a bit of a panic, the mother asked me to watch her son. Except it wasn't a question, and she was gone with her daughter in a second. A 5 or so year old Japanese boy looking up at me, just as confused as I was looking down. Thank God he had an iPad. I won't drag this out, but let me just tell you, in the next 35 minutes, every possible scenario went through my mind. For a few of those minutes, I genuinely thought that she just left him with me. Because that makes sense. The kid was keeping it together, so I was as well. She returned, after those 35 minutes, with a bag that I hadn't seen before, that apparently they left somewhere. I asked her with my hands to keep my place in line, and I went to go get a beer. A much-needed beer. And here's our train now. This is a 285 series train. Each set has 7 cars, and each train has 2 sets. Until they're split, of course. Anyway, this is turning into an odd video. Let's focus on showers. There are showers on the train, but they are very limited. As in, the water on the train is limited. And if you want to get one, you need to be one of the first people to board and quite literally run to the shower vending machine on the train. The vending machines are in car 3 and 10. I read somewhere online, deep down a Reddit hole, that the machines were closer to the door 11 entrance, so here I am. By the time the train departed, there were around 30 people waiting at each door 10 and 11. If you want one of the coveted shower cards, you'd best be to arrive at the platform a good 40 minutes before departure, which tonight is 9:50 p.m. Let's have a look at today's trip stats. When you're buying tickets, you do need to begin the process choosing either Sunrise Izumo or Sunrise Seto, even if you're getting off before the split, and I guess I chose Sunrise Izumo. And here is the elusive and exclusive shower vending machine. Tickets cost just 350 yen for 6 minutes of good pressure hot water. Once on board, everything is a bit tight. Most, perhaps all, trains in Japan, besides the Shinkansen, operate on narrow gauge lines, and that explains the interiors here. Let's go take a tour of my cabin. First things first, I love the combination locks at every cabin. You can program these however you'd like to. It's the lack of something like this on Amtrak trains that keeps me from doing overnight journeys with them. Inside, well, yeah, it's still tight, but if you booked this train, you probably already knew that. This is a single room, not to be confused with a deluxe single, a single twin, or a solo cabin. The room itself is just short of 2 meters, or 6'5", by 86 centimeters, or 2'10". The bed is as long as the room, and 70 centimeters, or 2'5" wide at the top end. Right by the entrance is the only space that you're going to have, besides on the bed or on that little platform table, to put your bags. This space was fine for me, just big enough to fit my bag plus standing room. The space was 28 by 60 centimeters, or 23 by 11 inches. Inside the Spartan room, here's what you're going to get. A cup, a robe, and your bedding. One thing I should note is that Japan has many luxurious overnight tourist trains. This is not one of them, so the Spartan interiors are exactly what you did pay for, and the price reflects that. The bedding was comfortable enough with a firm but sufficient mattress pad. There was also a small pillow made of buckwheat, I believe. Inside the room, there are various controls for the announcement volume, an alarm clock, the lighting, and the temperature controls. Now, about that temperature. It was hot. Not like malfunctioning hot, but far too hot for me with the heater off as there was still heat blowing in. If I had a small fan, I probably would have been fine. I'd say, if you're taking the train, especially in cooler months, just expect to be pretty warm. The cabin has a single outlet near the door and a map of the train so you can find the facilities on board. You probably noticed that my cabin is below the platform level. This is just a luck of the draw thing. When you make your booking, the cabin will be assigned to you. It was fine, but just make sure that you realize that everyone on the platforms can see everything in your room if the shade is open and especially if the lights are on. Okay, let's get this train on the road. Or, well, keep it on the track. It's an interesting perspective. As for tonight's route, we are essentially going west, with a few curves. We'd be passing through Hamamatsu, Nagoya, Osaka, and Kobe before reaching Okayama after 8.5 hours at 6:27 a.m. If you're enjoying the Japan content, check out the playlist linked above and in the description below for all of my Japan flight, hotel, and train videos. Also, in the description you'll always find my next 5 videos to come out. Let me show you around the train a bit, starting off with the room types. Keep in mind that this train boarded fully in like 83 seconds, so I'm going to rely on some photos here. The cheapest space is called Nobi Nobi. Think of it like a capsule hotel, but without actual walls in between the rooms, just small partitions, and no mattresses either. If you have JR Rail Pass, these seats will be available for you at no additional cost, but you do need to make a reservation. The sleeping surface is hard and carpeted, and no pillows are provided, so book accordingly. One step up from that is the solo accommodations. These are at the end cap cars, where 2 different floors aren't possible. So from a single mid-level floor, these solo cabins go up or down their own little small set of stairs. They're almost the same size as my room, with one key difference. The stairs take up that luggage and standing space that I showed you in my room. So if you book a solo room, pack light. Oh, and for the Nobi Nobi seats, your bag needs to be within your space as well. Actually, this applies to all categories. So if you have a lot of bags, consider using a luggage forwarding service, which is common in Japan. Next up would be my single room, and after that is the creme de la creme, the single deluxe. This is the room that I was trying to get. This is more or less an actual room and has a small desk and sink as well. For twin rooms, there are 2 options. The single twin, which is the same general size as my room, but with 2 beds, one over the other, or the much more comfortable Sunrise twin. The common spaces on board are really limited, as there's no food or cafe car. I'm gonna head back to my cabin now to have a late dinner and try to get at least a few hours of sleep. I'll be up around 4:30 tomorrow morning just to make sure that a shower is available. Okay, so let's go tour the rest of the bits on board. There are 2 lounge spaces just like this on board, along with a basic vending machine. The restrooms are efficiently sized and spotless throughout the journey. And here we have the showers. Oh, the showers. First things first, impressively clean. They have their own self-cleaning function. The floor looks bad in this clip, but it's just from scratches. It is very clean. There's an outer room and then an inner room. Each of the rooms was about as wide as my elbow span when making a praying sign. You put your card that you already bought in here and it powers up. No one is watching, well, obviously no one is watching, but there's a general 30-minute limit to the space. No one's keeping track. Though the hot water itself lasts for only 6 minutes, but you can turn it off and on and extend that time. Shampoo and body wash are provided, and the water is a decent pressure and plenty hot. But note, there are no towels. Make sure you plan for this. The night prior, I was at the Hyatt Regency Yokohama, and with the amenities in the bathroom, they had these small, towel-looking things that were meant to be taken, or used. I thought, oh well, that's perfect. Turns out, they're about as absorbent as rubbing yourself with styrofoam. So I spent my remaining time with the hairdryer. The clouds were hanging low as the first morning light broke. And while I did actually enjoy this whole experience, I was also ready to walk around without holding on. I'll let you enjoy the approach into Okayama and then give you my final thoughts. So we all know what happens if you click like on this video and subscribe to the channel. But do you know what happens if you don't? You may never see me or one of my videos again. So if you enjoy this style of content, please be sure to click all of the buttons, but just the good ones. If you're interested in a peek of the inner workings of the channel, or just need some travel advice, be sure to check out my Patreon. Whatever you do, thanks for being here right now. So, trains and train spotting are a really big thing in Japan. Like, big enough that it was a pleasure to film this whole experience since everyone else seemed to be filming it as well. This all came to its peak when the train sets uncoupled in Okayama, ending a 9-hour kiss and departing separately after being in the station for around 10 minutes. And so, that is that. My honest thoughts? I love the concept. I love any form of transit in Japan, and I genuinely do love traveling by train. But there is a but. You need to prepare yourself to not sleep well, plain and simple. The train makes 15 stops between Tokyo and Okayama, with the only real extended gap without stops from 1:46 AM to 5:30. And when you're moving, it is certainly not Shinkansen smooth. In fact, it's not really smooth at all. So my point is, do it, but be prepared to miss a night of sleep. With my flights and my schedule, I do this quite often. I survive. But if you're on a true vacation, you need to consider, is taking an overnight train worth losing part or all of the following day just because you're freaking tired? If that's okay for you, then it is a great experience. I really do hope that you enjoyed this video today. If you did, please be sure to click that like button and subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss out on my twice weekly videos. I'll see you next time for the last train video of this Japan series, the Hello Kitty Shinkansen, because why not? Oh, and as always, thanks for watching until the end.